The Gen Archaeological Research Station Horizon 9. Complete story, timecode-free version. The Gen Archaeological Research Station Horizon 9 hung like a delicate crystal suspended in the endless void of the Carina Nebula. From the outside, it appeared peaceful, a marvel of interstellar engineering designed to study the most ancient artifacts known to galactic civilization. Inside, Dr. Amira Chen was anything but calm. Her workspace was a controlled chaos of holographic displays, quantum resonance scanners, and artifacts that defied conventional understanding. Scattered across her workstation were fragments of technology so old that carbon dating was useless. Some pieces predated the known universe itself. Zor, her Krelnax research partner, watched her with a mixture of professional courtesy and barely concealed condescension. The avian-like alien's iridescent feathers ruffled slightly as he spoke, his translator producing a smooth, almost musical tone. "Dr. Chin, you've been staring at that fragment for 18 standard hours. Perhaps it's time to rest." Amara didn't even look up. Her eyes, enhanced with quantum interface neural implants, were locked onto a crystalline shard no larger than her thumbnail. It was an unremarkable piece, smooth, almost translucent, with a faint shimmer that seemed to change depending on how the light hit it. "Not now," she muttered, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface. Lines of incomprehensible code scrolled past, mathematical equations that seemed to breathe and pulse with their own internal logic. The fragment had been recovered from the ruins of a long-dead civilization near the galactic core. Initial scans had revealed nothing unusual, just another piece of technological debris from a culture that had burned out millions of years ago. But Amara knew better. There was something here, something that everyone else had missed. Her neural implants were pushing beyond their safe operational limits. Sweat beaded on her forehead, and a thin trickle of blood ran from her left nostril. Warning indicators flashed across her vision, but she ignored them. Zor took a step forward, genuine concern momentarily replacing his usual academic detachment. "The medical AI is detecting extreme neural stress. You need to." The words died in his throat. The fragment began to vibrate, subtly at first, then with increasing intensity. Holographic displays flickered. The very air seemed to charge with potential energy. "Oh my God," Amara whispered. What happened next occurred in a series of impossibly fast moments. The fragment erupted in a cascade of quantum energy that defied every known law of physics. Holographic displays shattered. The station's quantum shielding began to collapse. Zor was the first to die. One moment he was there, the next he was nothing more than a fine ash scattered across the research bay. The quantum resonance spike that consumed him was so intense that it didn't even leave a shadow. Amara's enhanced reflexes and neural implants saved her. Barely. She activated an experimental quantum entanglement device, a prototype so classified that only 3 people in the entire human research network knew of its existence. It was designed as a last resort emergency extraction system, untested and potentially fatal. The station around her was coming apart. Whole breaches opened like wounds. Emergency systems failed catastrophically. In the distance, she could hear the screams of her fellow researchers being torn apart by forces they couldn't comprehend. But Amara was focused on the fragment. Even as the world dissolved around her, she managed to capture a final scan. The data was unlike anything she'd ever seen, a living mathematical construct that seemed to pulse with an almost sentient energy. Her body began to phase. Quantum uncertainty took hold. She was simultaneously everywhere and nowhere, her molecular structure breaking down and reforming in impossible patterns. The last thing she saw before total quantum dissolution was the fragment. It wasn't just a piece of technology, it was a message.
A key.
A weapon. Something that entire galactic civilizations had been searching for across millions of years. And she had just found it. Then darkness. Then nothing. Then something else entirely. The first thing Amara felt was pain, not the sharp, localized pain of injury, but a deep, systemic agony that seemed to resonate through every molecule of her being. Her consciousness flickered like a damaged hologram struggling to reassemble itself. Sterile white light assaulted her eyes as she forced them open. Containment protocols surrounded her, a complex web of energy barriers, quantum suppression fields, and medical monitoring systems that would have impressed even the most advanced alien civilizations. "Subject is conscious," a cold mechanical voice announced. 3 figures stood beyond the primary energy barrier. Director Marcus Reyes, head of Earth's Synological Defense Initiative, looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. To his right, Dr. Alina Rodriguez, the world's leading quantum biomechanics expert, studied Amara with an intensity that bordered on predatory. The third figure was unexpected, a non-human silhouette that seemed to shimmer and shift, suggesting some form of advanced holographic or quantum camouflage technology. "Welcome back, Dr. Chun," Reyes said, his voice carefully modulated. "You've been unavailable for 72 hours. Amara tried to speak, but her throat felt like it was lined with broken glass. A medical drone approached, injecting her with a cocktail of nanoregenerative compounds and communication facilitators. "The fragment," she rasped. "Did you?" "We have partial data," Rodriguez interrupted, "but nothing complete. Whatever you recovered from the Horizon 9 station is unlike anything in our databases. The Galactic Concordance is losing its collective mind." The shifting figure spoke next, its voice a complex harmonic that seemed to bypass traditional audio channels, resonating directly in Amara's mind. "Your discovery has triggered protocols that have been dormant for millennia." Reyes stepped forward, activating a holographic display. Intercepted alien communications filled the air, a cacophony of encrypted transmissions from dozens of advanced civilizations. Star maps lit up with activity, showing massive fleet movements and communication spikes that suggested something extraordinary was happening. "The Krelnaks have mobilized their entire defensive fleet," Reyes explained. "The Vork's Imperium has activated weapon systems we didn't even know existed. Someone is hunting whatever you found, and they're willing to start a galactic war to get it." Rodriguez brought up a series of scans. Amara's body was different. Quantum markers danced through her biological structure. Traces of the fragment's energy were integrated into her cellular matrix in ways that defied current scientific understanding. "You're not entirely human anymore," Rodriguez said bluntly. "The quantum entanglement device you used didn't just save your life. It fundamentally altered your physiological structure." The shifting figure moved closer. Up close, Amara could see it wasn't a hologram, but some form of living technology, a being that existed simultaneously in multiple states of matter and energy. "The Null Protocol," it said, "is more than a weapon. It is a key, a communication mechanism with the fundamental substrate of reality." Alarms suddenly blared. The containment facility went into immediate lockdown. Quantum disruption fields activated, creating layers of defensive barriers that would vaporize anything attempting to breach the facility. "They found us," Reyes said, his hand moving to a weapon that looked more like a quantum manipulation device than a traditional firearm. Alien ships were dropping out of faster-than-light transit just outside Earth's defensive perimeter. Not just a few ships, hundreds, thousands. An armada that represented the combined military might of multiple galactic civilizations, all hunting for the secret that Amara had discovered. The shifting being turned to her. "You must understand the magnitude of what you found. The Null Protocol is not just information, it is a method of communication with the fundamental laws of existence. Civilizations have burned themselves out trying to understand its potential." Rodriguez's voice was urgent. "The fragment you recovered contains something that could rewrite everything we understand about physics, information theory, and the nature of reality itself." Outside, the first wave of alien attack ships began their approach. Earth's defensive platforms powered up, quantum cannons charging with enough energy to shatter entire planetary systems. Amara looked down at her hands. They were shifting, phasing, becoming something more than flesh and blood. "What am I becoming?" she whispered. No one answered. The war for the universe was about to begin.